Hi everyone, we're going to be making the matching box to go with the Follow Your Heart card. This is a really simple box to make. If you go to my blog, there is a link on the right hand side with a pattern for the Christmas cracker, and this is my pattern. I've already cut one out to make the other box, so you only need to print it out once and you can keep the template. What you need to do is transfer the template onto your piece of cardstock. Now if you're using a craft knife, make sure that you are using a cutting mat underneath what you're working with so you don't damage your table. And I'm going to just use my craft knife just to transfer most of the pattern onto my piece of cardstock. Once you've cut out the top half of your pattern and you've cut along this side here down to here, depending on how long you want your box, obviously you're going to have to think about this. I'm going to take my sections down to here. I'm going to ignore this half of the box at the bottom, and I'm just going to cut two flaps just down to there. So my box is going to stop about here. Okay, those are going to create the base of your box. So we won't be needing the craft knife again, so let's put the craft knife away, and I'm going to move my cutting mat. Now depending on how you normally score, if you score with a ruler, then you can go ahead and use your ruler. I normally score with my Fiskars cutting mat, my Fiskars cutting board, and it's really easy to be able to line up the lines where I want to score. So I'm just going to run my bone folder between the petal shapes that you've just cut out. Okay, and in doing this you're creating the corners of the box and also the flaps at the bottom. Okay. All the way down. Okay, and where we've gone to the edge there, I'm just going to trim off the bottom half of the box so you can keep that for something else. Sorry, just shaking the camera there. The other thing that you want to do is at the bottom of the flap here, obviously if you're using that as the base of your box, then that's fine. You want to just score your flaps along the bottom too. Okay, so now I have the basic part of my box using the template for the Christmas cracker on the Stampin' Stacks blog site, which you can print off, it's a PDF. Okay, and we've just used half of the template with a little bit further. So what I've done now, after I've scored it, I'm going to cut along the score lines at the bottom of the box, all the way up to the base of the box, so that I'm creating my base for the box. There we go. So now I have the basis of my box. I want to create some scallops along the top, so I'm going to take my scallop edge punch and I'm just going to slide the cardstock into the punch. Sorry if I make the camera jiggle as I do this. Lining the scallops up as we go. And next I need to fold my score lines. And also the base of the box. Okay, folded all my ends up, and now I'm going to add some sticky strip into my flaps on the edges, and just trim that off. Move my lamp a little bit. Okay, and now the sticky strip is pressure sensitive, so if you press it down, it will peel off really easily. So just rub it with your finger. It's also very clingy, the orange bits. And we're going to turn our box. Okay, and stick the top of the box. And there we have most of our box. Now we're going to leave a couple of the flaps off. Okay, and we're just going to fold them in. It's going to mean that we're not going to need as much adhesive. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of sticky strip in the flap at the bottom and one on the opposite side. Just 2 pieces of sticky strip. Can't get the orange tape off me. Obviously, depending on how you want to stick the bottom of your box together, if you wanted to cut out a hexagon shape to neaten up the base, then you could, but I'm quite happy with mine looking like that. Next, I need a piece of ribbon, which is just going to tie around the top. Like that. Okay, sorry, my battery ran out halfway through. I finished off the box with a piece of the scrap paper which we had left over from doing the card, the piece that we cut off. I ran it through the crimper without the scalloped edge on it. I scalloped the edge of a strip of matching paper that matches the front of the box, which is from the Bella Bleu Designer Series paper pack. So you can see it a little bit clearer on here. I created the tag in exactly the same way as I did the one on the card, and I punched a hole and threaded it through with the ribbon. And then we have our finished box. This is the base of it. Obviously, if you wanted to cut out a piece of card to go over the top of that, then you could. I'm quite happy with it like that. It goes face down so you don't really see it, and it's a lovely little treat box which you can add sweets or a gift to for birthdays, or maybe even a wedding favour if you wanted to make that for a wedding favour too. But thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 tutorials, and I'll see you next time.